Hello everybody and welcome back. As always, I am Mateo311 and this is your channel for everything VR related. Now in case you guys didn't know,
it's gonna be May.
That's right, May is upon us and it looks like it's gonna be another great month for VR gamers. I have a list of nearly 20 new games to go over from all platforms, including the Meta Quest, PlayStation VR 2, and pcvr. And like normal, I'm sure we'll see a few games that surprise drop throughout the month. Now, like normal, dates are always subject to change, so don't come after me if one of these games does not release. Well, let's not waste any more time and jump right into this with the new games coming to Quest Plus. The first one is hands down one of the best competitive shooters in VR, and that is Pavlov's Shack. This is basically a Counter-Strike clone that is done right in VR. It has all that same action you've come to know and love, but doesn't shy on any of the VR mechanics, and it even includes the large array of mods that the Counter-Strike community has come to expect. So if you are a Quest Plus member and never tried Pavlov, I highly recommend you jump in. But if you're really not into PvP, why not battle a series of spiders and kill it with fire? This is a zany title that not only induces arachnophobia, but also has you going way overboard in an attempt to exterminate these creatures. Overall, it's good for a nice laugh and worth checking out. But let's not waste any more time and jump into the new releases. First up is Deep Cuts, an action-adventure title that has you jumping into and battling your way through a series of different movie genres. So premise-wise, it's a bit similar to Action Hero, but mechanically, it's a bit closer to Bone Labs, as it features both physics-based combat and an array of different ranged weapons. Now, I'm a bit intrigued on this one, but not completely sold just yet. And just a quick reminder like normal, if there are any games throughout this video that you want me to cover in the month of May, please let me know down in the description. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of those videos. Now, next up isn't exactly a new VR game, but we will see the release of Among Us 3D. This is a flat screen version of the already existing Among Us VR, and I'm mentioning it because it will feature crossplay with VR players. So if you're a fan of Among Us VR, get ready to see a nice increase in the online players. But jumping back to brand new VR games, we have Surviving Mars Pioneer. This is a spin-off of the flat strategy game Surviving Mars, but Pioneer plans to deliver gameplay mechanics much closer to Subnautica. So rather than trying to terraform a whole planet, you're just an individual on a mission of survival. Now, Subnautica is pretty badass in VR, so I'm definitely intrigued to jump into this game. But I'm actually way more excited for the Midnight Walk. This adventure will have you journeying through an extra creepy world filled with monstrous creatures that are made even more unsettling by the fact that they've been animated in that old school claymation stop motion style. Now, I get chills just watching the footage here. I can't wait to jump into this world, and it looks like it's filled with a lot of cool characters and an interesting storyline. Now, normally this wouldn't be my go-to type of game, but after playing through and absolutely loving Ghost Town, I'm even more excited for this one. Now, for the horror adversed, let's get back to hitting each other with Final Fury. The developers of Synth Riders are trying something absolutely new with a unique take on the fighting genre. You'll get to choose from a large array of different characters, all with unique special abilities, and then jump online and battle it out. Now, I played a very early build of this game probably a year ago, and it was already showing a lot of promise, so I'm looking forward to getting back in and seeing how far the game has truly come. And speaking of getting back into games, the absolutely action-packed shooter Vendetta Forever is dropping a brand new DLC pack. Now, I actually met up with the game's developer at GDC and already demoed these levels, which not only offer up a lot new variety in gameplay, as you'll be traveling to places like a submarine and a space station, but more importantly, it's bringing more of that awesome fast-paced action. Now, if you never tried Vendetta Forever, it was a sleeper hit similar to Superhot that unfortunately released right next to Batman and was overshadowed, similar to our next title, Walltown Wonders. Now, it wasn't competition that held back this absolutely stunning mixed reality experience, but merely the fact that it was really only available to Quest 3 owners. Well, developers Cyborn are resolving that and bringing this world-building sim to both PlayStation VR and pcvr. Now, this is mostly a cute casual experience, so it's definitely not for everybody, but I definitely enjoyed it, and I'm always impressed at how far this studio can push graphics on the Quest headset. Now, changing things up, it's been a while since we got a good co-op shooter, and that's why I'm hoping A Long Survive delivers. This is a cross-platform multiplayer shooter that you can experience from both VR and flat screen. So if you're like many other VR gamer who has friends that refuse to make the jump into VR, well, now you could still game directly with them. A Long Survive has you jumping between different planets, fighting through a large variety of monstrous creatures. Teamwork will be essential to advance, but there's also some construction tools available to help you defend your position. Now, it looks like they're going for a Helldivers / From Other Suns vibe, and that could definitely make for a kick-ass game in VR. Now, for those of you who enjoy creepy games, we have 2 more dropping in the month of May. First up is the VR port of Slender the Arrival. This was an absolute cult classic that introduced a super creepy, lanky bad guy who usually lurks in the background until he decides to charge right at you. I thoroughly enjoyed and equally pooped my pants when I played this back in the day, and I'm really wondering if I'm going to be able to handle it in VR. Now, the next title, Out of Sight, seems to tone things down a little bit and go deeper into the overall storyline. Out of Sight is a story about a blind child who sees through the eyes of her teddy bear. Unfortunately though, this child finds herself trapped in a nightmare where all of the shadows are watching you. Now hopefully you'll be able to guide Sophie through this sinister mansion when it releases next month in both flat and VR mode. But VR shooters could be a dime a dozen, so let's change things up with the cozy farming sim Everdream Valley. There's cows, pigs, ducks, alpacas, sheep, bees, deer, boars, butterflies, wolves, mice, snails, and even a bunch of chickens that seem to be plotting something. There's full motion controls for tending to both your farms and taking care of these animals, and it feels like it could be a fun VR version of something like Stardew Valley. But let's get back to the serious action with Into the Radius 2. This title has been in early access for pcvr for months now, and it recently received a bunch of updates. Now there's no official confirmation just yet, but this is around the time we expected to see the early access coming to other platforms, and let's hope that's the case for all the PlayStation and Quest gamers out there. Now if you never played Into the Radius, you missed a top tier survival game. It's set in this really creepy post-apocalyptic world filled with shadow-like creatures. It's highly immersive with some extremely realistic mechanics, and it almost has a cult following that is well deserved. But I know VR horror is not for everyone, so maybe let's just have a little fun slapping the crap out of each other. And that's exactly what the developers of Slap Fighter want to deliver. This is a brawler with some excellent comic book style graphics that definitely doesn't take itself too seriously, as you'll fight through a motley crew of over-the-top villains, and your main method of attack is what did the 5 fingers say to the face? Slap. So I expect this will appeal to those who enjoy games like Gorn. But why would you resort to violence when you could perform a good old-fashioned B&E with a bunch of your buddies in the break-in? That's right, you get to steal TVs, fridges, toilets, whatever your heart desires, and then jump into your very own getaway vehicle, which could be everything from a bicycle to a stolen van. Now this isn't the first heist-style game that we've seen in VR, but the fact that it is 4-person co-op should make this a lot more fun. Now the break-in previously released on SteamVR and has some very positive reviews, and now questers will finally be able to get in on some of that action. Oh look at this, we're heading back to another horror action shooter survival title. Blackgate is designed similar to Dead by Daylight, but instead of just being a random bunch of people, you're an engineering crew that's been sent to repair a space station. It is unfortunately though infested with some sort of alien creature, so I would recommend some hazard pay to your team. All jokes aside, this is a 5-person asymmetrical PvP/co-op game. One person will take on the role of the alien, and everyone else takes on the role of engineer. So I guess the best explanation is Among Us meets Dead by Daylight, and you're also floating around in Zero G. It sounds cool, so I'm sold, but then again, so does Zombie Army VR. Now, I know this title's been getting a bad rap ever since Gamescom, but I'm oddly excited for it. I mean, you're telling me I'll get to kill Nazis and zombies at the same time with a friend at my side? I'm really not asking for much more. Now, they've also had over 6 months to continue working on this game since I last saw it, so my fingers are still crossed that we'll get a really nice spin-off from the flat screen series, delivering both a cool storyline and, more importantly, some kick-ass gameplay. But remember, guys, there's much more to gaming than just pure violence, and that's why I'm happy to see titles like Vivarium. This game allows you to build your very own aquarium or terrarium. There's 18 different saltwater animals, 10 forms of marine algae, and plenty of other cosmetic elements to personalize your tank. Now this game works a little bit like a sim meets a world builder, as Vivarium does utilize some true-to-life skills, but it's also just about building up your very own personalized tank that you can admire in both VR and mixed reality modes. And finally, let's finish up today's video with a brand new racing game. F1 25 is releasing on May 30th, and the PC version is coming with VR support. It's time to jump into the world of Formula 1 racing with some absolutely insane graphics and true-to-life physics. There's a full campaign mode that has you taking ownership of a Formula 1 team with a unique perk system that allows you to customize your crew. Now, Formula 1 is already a beloved series. The 2024 version got excellent reviews, and I'm hoping this title does just as well and doesn't drop the ball when it comes to the VR implementation. And that right there was today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Before you go, I know there's a few more surprises coming in the month of May that I'm I'm not allowed to talk about. So just expect a few more things that will surprise drop here and there. And again, if there's anything you want me to cover, please let me know what it is down in the comments. Drop a like and consider subscribing if you enjoyed this video. And of course, I'll see you guys on next time.